am here to talk to you about my past life memories in Atlantis. So I'm going to tell you about the first time that I was taken to a memory in Atlantis. I had moved from Philadelphia to Texas. It was just in my spirit to do so, and I did it. And so I moved there, and I was away from my family, and I got so close to the spirit realm, so close, right? And so there was a time that I was in my meditation corner, and I was doing a spirit guide meditation. And during that meditation, my spirit guides, I astral travel, y'all. So I'm going to tell you the astral journey that happened. So I was meditating Indian style, but then also in the astral plane, I was Indian style meditating, and then my soul left my body. I had a spirit guide who was with me, and then my spirit left out of my body and went into the ocean. And I went so deep into the ocean and so far. It was like deep and far, deep and far, deep and far, deep and far for a pretty long time. But then there was a portal that I went through. There was a portal that my spirit went through. It was kind of like, if you can imagine like ocean water, right? And then it feels like there's this veil that's right there. And going through it kind of feels like jello. And you're in one reality and then you go into another. And mind you, I had no control over this experience. This is just when my spirit was ready to see this. And so then I was taken through the portal, and I found that I was in different waters. And mind you, I was in a mermaid body, you know. It looked a little, my body looked a little different. It was kind of like a blue translucent color. My whole body was the same color. And I remember like crying, and I was crying like actually in this physical reality when I was sitting in my meditative state, when I was seeing everything. And I saw like mermaids. They looked like they were like not okay. They were crying. They were like pulling on my energy, asking like, help us, help, like basically just saying like, help us, like, look what happened. They were like pulling on my energy and like trying to get my attention and trying to show me what was happening. And then I looked up and I saw like basically what's here, the castle, what Atlantis looks like, but it was like way bigger, and it was in ruin. And I just remember my whole body was shaking. I was crying so hard. And I had all these memories come back. It was just like, it was such a beautiful place. But then it was like bombs and just all sorts of stuff that just destroyed it. And there was a few people, mer beings, who were left behind. And I just remember crying there and feeling their energy crying. And then I remember feeling my spirit, my mermaid spirit body was pulled backwards. So it was, in a way, I was kind of being sucked backwards, and I got sucked through the portal. And then I was back in my spirit, like as a spirit, going through the ocean again. My spirit came out of the ocean back into the body that was meditating in the astral realm. And then my spirit came back into this body in the physical reality. And when I tell you, I think I cried for like 30-40 minutes. And it's so crazy because I don't even think I knew what Atlantis was. But I heard the name Atlantis. I think I saw the word Atlantis one time when I had went to the Bahamas. But I never knew about Atlantis. But then I remember hearing telepathically the word Atlantis. So then I Googled it. I just typed in Atlantis and I looked at the picture and my eyes got so big. I was like, because it was like the photo that I saw when I typed in Atlantis. It was the exact image of like where I was like during that meditation. Then I was just like, yo. And so that was the beginning of my awakening into ancient civilizations. And when I tell you, I felt that just as like when I astral travel, when I meditate, I feel it just as strongly as I feel things here, if not more. And so that was my first time seeing Atlantis. There were other times that I was able to journey back there too, because I do a lot of different spiritual journeying, meditation, like astral traveling, shamanic journeying. Like my spirit can travel across time and space into different dimensions, past lives, other portals and stuff like that. And so, I mean, I saw my life in Atlantis. I was a sex priestess, a psychic healer, just like I am today. I had a blue like mermaid body, and it was very interesting because really it was my vibration. Like my vibration was sending out this healing sexual energy that was making all the water around me vibrate. I saw that. It was very interesting. There was also another time which I've learned, which is why I have a lot of that type of energy in this lifetime. And so there was another lifetime, another time that I was able to travel back to Atlantis, where I was able to see like what things look like. A few of my clients that I have now, my soulmate tarot therapy clients, I actually knew them in Atlantis, which was super cool. I saw them there. That was cool. Like I saw their past lives there, and I saw like their spirits there. So I was actually there to teach. Like I've been a priestess for a very long time in ancient civilizations, on Earth, etc., even here, And so another time I remember being inside of my father. He was, I don't know, I guess I could use the word wealthy. I don't know if the word wealthy was a thing, but it was like a beautiful like castle type of vibe. It was giving like a palace underwater kind of. And it was very interesting because I went there, I remember going, just traveling inside to just see what the vibes was giving. And I saw cars were like driving, but they didn't have wheels. It was like, how can I say it? It was kind of like the cars were like sliding, but they weren't touching, And it's very interesting because when we think about these underwater civilizations, I know this might, whatever, if you're watching this, okay, whatever, yeah, it is what it is. So the water is different densities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, say for example, inside of that building, the water was so dense that it was kind of like translucent. It's like, are we even in water? You know what I'm saying? That's what the vibes was giving. Kind of like when you watch movies like Aquaman or like the Black Panther 2, how they have like underwater civilizations. That's actually true. I actually remember lifetimes experiencing that, not only in Atlantis but also in Mintaka. If y'all want a video about Mintaka, I'll tell you about that too. That was my first soul's origin. But yeah, so that's honestly all I can remember. Oh, another thing I do remember is okay, there's something called the law of one. So there was like extreme harmony and balance. The god there was named Thoth, the ancient Egyptian god, who isn't the reason why we have astrology, but he was an Atlantean god too. Ancient Egypt and Atlantis was very connected. That's something that I also know. And when Atlantis was destroyed, it was like portals between like Egypt and Atlantis. A lot of that hidden wisdom was taken into ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt, and that's why they like blew up the libraries to like hide the information and stuff like that. But a lot of us were able to be on land and in water at the same time, because I also did see a past life of me being like, I was indigenous, like Native American in a lot of past lives too. So there was past lives where I was able to be like I was Native American, like an indigenous Indian woman, but I went into the ocean to do my priestess work. And so it was like, I don't know how everything works. All I know is what I saw and what I experienced, and that's all I'm going to share. All the other pieces to the puzzle, you'll have to do your own research, but this was my experiences. What else did I see? Oh, crystals was a really big thing there too. So a lot of the technology ran off of crystals. So crystals are a very ancient Atlantean like thing. I think a lot of crystals are used for technology now too. And it's also interesting because we think that technology nowadays is like very like big deal and this, that, and the third, but to be completely honest, like crystals, like technology and crystals were actually more potent in, you know, they were actually more evolved in ancient times. That's something that they don't want us to know. So what I do know about the fall of Atlantis was there were darker forces. That's what I don't know everything, but this is what I know. There were darker forces who wanted to take what Atlantis have, like the technology, the spirituality, this, that, and the third. So it was a very harmonious, Atlantis was a very harmonious balance between the masculine and the feminine energies. And this is like God and goddess energy together. It was a harmonious place. But then this place wanted to like take the resources. And what I know is that there was a fall of Atlantis. Like there was like bombing and fire and just all this stuff that just like destroyed. And mind you, you know, that's just what I know. You know, I don't want to make anything up and try and bridge all the gaps because I don't know everything. But this is what I know, and this is what I saw. This is what I experienced. I did meet some people, like I said, in this lifetime who had past lives in Atlantis. I remember my past life in Atlantis. I was very beautiful, honey. Period. Yeah. Okay. But that's it. So, video about my past life in Atlantis. I think a lot of that energy is playing out now. A lot of us have reincarnated from those times. Here, the chosen, the star seeds and stuff like that, we've come from different places. That's a whole nother video. I don't know everything. I do know a lot. I don't know everything. I will say that's it for now. If y'all have any questions, I can share stories about like my different past lives that I've had. I remember a good deal of them. So if you're interested, let me know. But yeah, if you would like to book a session with me, I am a clinical therapist as well as a psychic medium, tarot reader, shadow work practitioner, and I would love to do a reading with you. But thank you so much for watching. A lot of my clients tend to be starseeds, people who have had past lives in other civilizations as well. So if you feel like you're not from here, or you tend to want to look to the stars a lot, or you know, the water and stuff like that, sometimes you just feel like that as a human, but sometimes you really are not from here. Like I practice telepathy and I'm extra psychic, like very psychic being, because I'm from the water. Like I have like